Config Manager 2007 R3 is going to have some power management capabilities in it. And the way that Sumir and I and our teams have always worked together is there's a base set of capabilities that we ship inside of SMS or Configuration Manager, and then 1E has always added value on top of that. So let's talk a little bit about some of the value adds that 1E brings that are just not present inside of R3.
So we enjoy our partnership very much so, and where we add value now in terms of R3 and Configuration Manager is in those three broadly big methods. The first one being, let's just make sure that the user is happy. So if you consider yourself, before you came into work today or on a weekend, you might have left a document or some application running on your PC. Well, wouldn't it be nice, even though we're saving power on that PC, that you can switch it on from home and actually get access to this data? Now, this is actually a critical requirement in some environments, especially very technical environments, but certainly some business environments, such as financial ones. And so we've got a secure web wake-up feature that we have built on top of Configuration Manager that allows us to wake up those PCs, and we use, of course, Configuration Manager, inventory, and other components to ensure that we can actually enable this very important feature.
So like for a scenario where I'm going to use remote desktop from home, even though the PC is asleep, with the 1E technology, it can be awake and it still be used by the end user. Great. It's awesome.
Absolutely. One of the other things we do is we make sure that if that PC is having any of the sort of common 2025 issues that stop it from being managed by Configuration Manager, or slow it down so that the user is not going to have a good or great experience from their Windows PC, then we'll just fix it automatically.
And those are scenarios like, I go to put a PC, shut it down, or put it to sleep, and there's an application open that kind of stops it. 1E has a database of workarounds that says, wow, if you see this right here, here's the way that you actually shut down that application, save the document, so the PC can actually go into a shutdown or to a sleep mode. Is that an example?
Sure. That's actually an example of another feature as well.
Okay.
But it's a great example, and I'd certainly like to come back to it. What we have in the in terms of automated fixes are WMI corruptions, for example. Some applications may misbehave when you're installing them or when they're running, and they might actually corrupt WMI itself.
Yeah, some of the SCCM client issues that you've had the health checker for it.
Perfect. Okay. And so the user gets highly frustrated when they're not getting applications delivered to them, when they're not actually getting patches delivered to them. And so we certainly ensure that this issue is addressed entirely. But also when the user goes home, sometimes they're downloading some data from the internet, for example. It might be quite a long download, or they're running certain applications. And what they want to do is they just want that PC to be left on at that time. But the user might not actually remember to do this. So we actually sense which applications are important or critical. And we also provide the user with an override capability. They can just say, leave my PC alone for the next 24 hours. I'm just doing something important.
Very cool. Okay, so that's one big kind of broad bucket of value add on top of R3. Let's talk about some of the others.
Sure. The next big sort of bucket is administrative flexibility. Administrative flexibility is all about, let's give the systems administrators something to be happy about as well. Because of course they're not going to enjoy any of the power savings benefits. That's really what the facilities manager and the business as a whole does. So one of the key things we came out with was power management success actually equals patch management success. Why? Because we want to be able to switch on that computer out of hours, and it's really the main reason we wrote Wake on LAN tool and followed by Night Watchman about 11 or 12 years ago. The idea was that let's be able to patch those machines safely and then give the administrators some capabilities so that they can reboot those machines safely. So when the user comes into work the next day, the first message they get is not, can you reboot your machine?
Correct.
Yeah, you might have left some documents open, so we're not going to reboot your machine. Well, actually, we'll save those documents automatically. And that machine would have rebooted, and the user doesn't waste that 2 or 3 minutes that they might have wasted right at the beginning.
Good.
So, and of course, we've got a wonderful console that we've designed so that we can really ease the administrative burden of this task. Most of our customers are spending maybe an hour or less per month in administering.
Configuration and setup and.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. And then there's another big bucket of value as well on top of R3 that 1E delivers.
Sure, and that's really around reporting.
Yeah.
Reporting is really important. It's extremely important because one of the big issues these days is this term called greenwash. So a lot of people talk about lots and lots of benefits around green IT or green solutions, but they're very tangential.
Sure.
So what we found is energy managers just don't want to do this. What they want to do is they want to say, this is precisely what we're saving, and we can back it up.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we developed a model, a very advanced model in terms of calculating how much energy is being used and wasted by a PC. We also developed a database that we populated by tens of thousands of different variables in terms of PC make, model types, monitors,
yep.
Exactly. And what we can do is we can calculate how much energy is being saved and how much energy is being wasted. And it's not just on the basis of a PC being on all the time. It's on the basis, or we use an algorithm that figures out how the PC was being used and how it's being used now after the implementation. So we deployed this technology in Dell.
Yeah.
And what Dell did was they measured how much they were using and how much they were saving through some external monitoring capabilities that they had in two of their buildings. Two of their buildings are fully instrumented.
Oh, that's cool.
And what was great was we were showing a $36 per year saving per PC,
Mm-hmm.
and they came up with the same number, $36.
So that's great. And I think one of the really interesting things about what you just said, Sumir, is you've got this database with tens of thousands of variables and models and makes, and so the reports that you get out of the tool are very, very accurate because it's taking into consideration each model, whether that be the monitor, whether that be the PC, the laptop, and that's very, 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 very neat. Other customer examples, are there other key things that we've learned, that you've learned in terms of the implementation of your power management capabilities? You gave Dell as an example. What else are other examples?
Sure. Well, we've got about 25 clients today that each have over 100,000 PCs. Mm-hmm. Our top 4 clients have over 300,000 PCs deployed. So the examples there are organizations that are hugely complex and global, such as HSBC. And in HSBC's case, as with other organizations that have that sort of number of computers deployed, there's a complexity to everything they do. And what we have to do is we've got to just make sure that it's really, really easy. And the impact on the users and the administrators is virtually nil. So what we've done is, with each iteration of our product, we are now in the 5th generation of both our technologies. And Night Watchman actually is in the 5.6 iteration now. What we've done is we've actually made it easier and easier and easier so that these very large companies can actually deploy and then save a huge amount of energy. In AT&T's case, they expect to save roughly the equivalent of 15,000 homes' worth of energy.
Wow.
With Ford, Ford is going to save about $1.2 million. This is their first year of implementation. Verizon Wireless is another great example. They're running an incredibly complex environment. Many of their PCs are in call centers. So you'd think that their PCs are being used 24/7. And still we are able to save them about $1.2 million worth of energy per year.